Hi, I'm Hats.
And I'm Loren Snow.
And today we're going to be talking about the 12 interests that autistic girls might have.
So our first interest is animals. Anything to do with animals, but specifically, what kind of animals?
Well, dinosaurs.
Do dinosaurs count as... I've got dinosaur. Oh, yeah. No.
They absolutely count as animals, right? We've got dinosaurs, you've got sea life.
I'm talking cats. I'm talking dogs. I'm talking foxes. I'm talking...
Rats.
Rats. Why? I love a little rat, yeah?
People, like, the autistic girlies, they love the rats.
They love the rats.
They love the rats. I'm the cat girl myself.
She's a cat girl. My partner's a fox girl.
There are a lot of people who just love all animals, but foxes, I've even...
Guinea pigs?
Cows was a whole thing as well. Guinea pigs.
I don't have cows.
No, there was like the farm animals.
I've heard you like S Club 7. So number 2, we have mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
This is a relatively new one.
Fungi.
Yeah, fungi. Do you know why?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the cycle. Maybe it's... I grew up like foraging, like when I was younger. So for me, it's quite nostalgic. But I think it's something to do with like... There's a cycle of it. There's like something to observe and watch, and they're very peaceful in very peaceful places.
I think sometimes autistic people have special interest in things that are theirs and only theirs, and so it's okay that they're a little bit weird, they're a little bit strange, because they know that other people are going to react like, oh, that's a bit strange, fungi, isn't it? But they take ownership of that strangeness. Number 3 is nature.
Nature.
Yeah, getting out in nature. We don't need any more explanation for that. Number 4 is makeup and fashion.
Makeup and fashion. Something that's often seen as a very normal interest for like a young girl or a young woman, but often it's just taken to a very high level. It might be special effects makeup. It might be something like cosplay. Something that involves using really, really intense skills around fashion and makeup.
Oh, I once had a friend like paint my entire body. I volunteered for
colour?
it.
Was it like colour? Was it?
I'm not. Just. It was for an art thing, which brings us on to our next one, number 5. It's art. No surprise there, right?
I've seen all different types of artists. Some realism, some just love abstract sketching. I know someone who does ceramics, for instance. It's all, and because it's so sensory, like there's different paints, different like ways of like using the same paint and like
I think it branches off into fashion really, because I know people that have gone, you don't just end at fashion, you go goth. You go into the...
Oh, yes. Definitely in the little niche areas, right? Like we sit in little niche pockets.
Number 6 is anime.
Anime.
So not one you're interested in, but I run an anime club and most of us are neurodivergent.
Massive. And also I feel like a lot of this really like links into fandoms. So like anime and the fandoms behind different things and different like ships and like basically different sort of pockets of people online and in these online spaces are almost like neurodivergent heaven for people.
And this brings us quite nicely into movies, doesn't it?
Movies,
or TV programs. So we're thinking, you were talking about the ones from your childhood, Disney, yeah?
Yeah, like these sort of old school Disney animations. For me, I'm an older Gen Z, so I grew up with things like Steven Universe, Phineas and Ferb, that kind of thing. And then for like being an autistic person, some of my special interests as an adult are sort of the adult equivalent shows. So things like Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman, Bob's Burgers, like Hell of a Boss, Has Been Hotel, all that kind of thing. I find a lot of comfort in that. And I also think that a reason a lot of autistic people...
Oh, we sang Has Been Hotel together. Went on a car journey. We have.
In work time. But it's the fact that a lot of like anime, cartoons, animated things provide a lot of consistency in terms of visually.
I mean, they have the same archetypes in them, don't they? They have.
You can also draw them
Anime
easily.
has the same English voice actors for everything. Yeah, so you watch a completely different anime. They sound all the same. They use the same face expressions, the same voice.
Very similar like tropes, very similar like character arcs. And I think that's really comforting. And I think that's why a lot of young girls especially love it.
Which brings us on to our next one, and it is musicals. Which was Has Been Hotel right then, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Sometimes you have a wonderful like moment where genres intersect of special interests. And that's really, really great.
It also goes into echolalia, because I know around our house we sing like the little jingles from like Heathers or Hamilton, and you know on
it's
the road.
Like one specific line.
Oh yeah, again and again.
Yeah.
Was it? And he got the gun. I don't know. He got the gun. Sorry, that's Chicago, isn't it? The gun. We're going to be censored just for that. Right. Next one we have here is Taylor Swift. Sorry, artists.
Music.
Music, not just Taylor, but Taylor could be one.
A really good example of a very, very like hot topic at the moment is Taylor Swift. But I also think we see it in really niche bands. Like, I definitely know people who are like in really core fan bases for whether it's some like really, really popular musician or a smaller one. Like, they're going to every concert they can. They're traveling around to do it. Like, that's so cool. The sensory seeking of music venues, like festivals, that's the word.
Or the connection through alternate culture as well.
Absolutely. The shared common interest that allows you to create bonds in a safe and like comfortable way.
And talking about alternate culture, we have our next one, which is geek culture.
Geek culture.
So we're talking about Marvel. We're talking about DC. We're talking about comic books. We're talking
about D&D. We're talking about
D&D.
Warhammer.
It's about Dungeons and Dragons.
Stuff that you can collect. Stuff that you can, where you get to control.
Well, that's our next one. It's rocks and shells and crystals.
They all link together, so none of these are completely mutually exclusive. There's a massive overlap. You can be like a real Star Wars nerd and love playing Star Wars D&D.
I feel like this one needs to go in its own special category, and it's sea life.
Sea life.
And sharks.
Yeah, well, that's our nature one. Now we've linked back.
And owning every plushie, which is our next one here.
Every single one.
I mean, at some point in your teenage years, all the plushies have to go in the attic because it's not cool to own too many plushies. But then when you reach your 20s, all the plushies come back out the attics. Smother everything in plushies. Yeah? If you're suffering from plushie overload right now, buy yourself some plushie hammocks, okay? We'll put an affiliate link in the chat so you can go on Amazon and buy yourself a plushie hammock. That way you can claim back your bed space. They may be all on the walls watching you when you're asleep, but you will have extra room to stretch out on.
You know that you're protected.
You don't need to struggle alone. And we should put tons of affiliate links to the best weighted turtles, okay?
I can see that being very lucrative.
Right, we hope you've enjoyed that. Like and subscribe if you have.